Hello everyone and welcome to Ultimate Paragraph Structure. This program is designed to take an in-depth look at the mechanics of formal English. We'll be working at an advanced level, B2 to C1 of English language learners, so I won't be shying away from complex subjects. We're going to explore grammar in detail, vocabulary, and to be honest, I'm going to expect a high level of precision in every aspect of your writing. My goal is to help you achieve mastery, and I hope you're ready for the challenge. Success in this course requires two things: patience and practice. You cannot improve without putting pen to paper. You need to write, write, and write again. We'll focus heavily on practical examples, so please have your material ready, get your pen and paper out, and get involved. Be proactive, don't just watch. Pause the videos, try to find the answers yourself, and engage deeply with the material. While this course is based on Longman Academic Writing Series Book 4, I will be expanding far beyond the text to discuss writing as a craft. To support this, we're significantly increasing the amount of reading in each session. We are also including a specialized vocabulary list, cloze tests, and interactive quizzes, especially designed to build your academic lexicon and ensure you can apply these high-level terms in real-world context. If you're looking to master formal English, I truly hope you find this journey useful. If you do, please hit the subscribe button and share this with your community, whether it's for academic or professional purpose. If you know someone who wants to master the English language, please share this with them. Now, let's get started with today's lesson. Analyzing the model. Let's talk about why we analyze the model. We're going to talk about the model as a structural blueprint. The writing model presented in Chapter 1 is not merely a reading passage, it serves as a structural blueprint. In academic writing, we don't reinvent the wheel. Instead, we analyze these models to understand exactly how an expert author transitioned from a broad general introduction to a specific focused thesis statement. Without first identifying the bones of the model, constructing a robust essay of your own becomes an uphill battle. Reverse engineer excellence. When we analyze a model, we are looking for two specific things: the transition signals, how the author facilitates the smooth flow of idea; evidence utilization, how data and facts are used to support a central claim. By reverse engineering a successful piece of work, we develop the skills to replicate its logical structure. This isn't just theory, it's a practical method you can apply directly to your own assignments. Ultimately, the model serves as the benchmark for your final writing task and exams. Analyzing it early gives you a comprehensive understanding of the grading criteria before you even begin to write. It bridges the gap between comprehending a concept and executing it perfectly. Here is the writing model of Chapter 1. As you know, a paragraph is essentially a collection of related sentences that revolve around a single and usually only one central idea. The length of a paragraph is not a determining factor. It can range from a single sentence to 10 or more sentences. However, the paragraph should be sufficiently long to effectively develop and convey the main idea. By the end of this video, you will have the opportunity to write a well-structured paragraph on the topic of communication. Communication styles that don't communicate. Studies show that certain styles of interpersonal communication are less effective than others. Which styles are the ones to avoid? These same studies indicate that the two least effective styles are aggressive and passive communication. On the one hand, an aggressive style involves speaking in a disrespectful manner, expressing anger, or trying to dominate the conversation. For example, a business executive might tell her coworker that his ideas for a new product are terrible. Then she might interrupt him when he tries to explain his ideas. This approach hinders successful communication. It also creates barriers between people. A passive communication style, on the other hand, can be equally unproductive. A passive style might lead a person to hide his or her beliefs, speak quietly, and submit to all demands. Someone working on a fashion design project, for instance, might agree to use a fabric that he thinks is unattractive. He would not express his true feelings to the group. In short, ineffective communicators can fail to influence others either by being too forceful or by hiding their opinion. What is the main idea of the paragraph? What do you think? Certain communication styles are ineffective. In which sentence the writer states the main idea? What do you think? Studies show that certain styles of interpersonal communication are less effective than others. That's the main idea. How does sentence 3 support the main idea? Here is sentence 3. These same studies indicate that the two least effective styles are aggressive and passive communications. Well, it explains. What points does the writer make about an aggressive style? It can involve speaking in a disrespectful manner or expressing anger. In which sentence does the writer introduce an example of an aggressive style? It tries to help you by questions to lead you how a paragraph must be constructed. We will explicitly talk about it later. In sentence 5, it said, for example, a business executive might tell her coworker that his idea for a new product are terrible. What points does the writer make about a passive style? Well, it can lead to a person to hide his beliefs and submit to demands. In which sentence does the writer introduce an example of a passive style? Well, someone working on a fashion design project, for instance, might agree to use a fabric that he thinks is unattractive. You might be already familiar with parts of a paragraph. We know that it has a topic sentence, a body, and a concluding sentence. It's similar to a sandwich. We have two buns at the top and the bottom, and the fillings in the middle. Now let's focus on topic sentence. I want to make 3 important points about a topic sentence. We know what is a sentence. A sentence is a collection of words that have a single idea or a complete thought, and it has a verb and subject, or a subject and verb, because the subject comes first. So a topic sentence is a complete sentence that contains 2 parts, a topic and a controlling idea. We know what the topic is, but what is the controlling idea? The controlling idea is like how we restrict that topic. We can, for example, talk about artificial intelligence, but the controlling idea might be the benefits of artificial intelligence for animals, for example, or for animal preservation, or for environmental preservation. Or the controlling idea of the artificial intelligence could be its impact on environment or energy usage. It can also be more restricted. Let's say the impact of artificial intelligence in rural areas, or the impact of artificial intelligence data centers in water pollution. A complete sentence has at least one subject and one verb. Communicating with colleagues, well, it's an incomplete. Why it's incomplete? Because it has no subject. Communicating with colleagues, where's the subject? Look at the other one. It is a bit more tricky. It is still incomplete. How to improve our online social networks. We have no subject, and also we have no finite verb. We have infinitive here, to improve. The infinitive phrase doesn't act on a subject, and also it doesn't have a specific time. It's not past, it's not present, etc. How can we improve that? How can we improve online social networks? By adding an auxiliary verb or a modal verb, and also a subject we, then followed by the main verb, we completed this question. So now this could be a topic sentence because it is a complete sentence. So the topic is online social networks, and the controlling idea is improvement of those online social networks. A topic sentence is the most general statement in the paragraph because it gives only the topic and the controlling idea. It does not give any specific details. It is very important. You should not clutter the topic sentence so much that it's going to become complex and the meaning couldn't be, conveyed to the reader. I always say this. It is the responsibility of the writer, especially in academic text and formal text, to deliver the proper meaning. There needs to be intention behind each word you choose, each punctuation that you put there. A topic sentence is the most general statement in a paragraph. Look at here. It is for dividing the topic and the controlling idea. Communication with colleagues requires sensitivity and understanding. So the topic is communication with colleagues, and we are going to talk about sensitivity and understanding regarding that matter. Improving online social networks can help professionals communicate. So improving online social networks is our topic, and can help professionals communicate is our controlling idea. We're going to only focus on professional communication in that social networks, not more. Keep it in mind that the topic sentence can be broad, can be general, but you shouldn't make it too specific or too wide. The controlling idea, for example, use cases of artificial intelligence. Well, you can write 1,000 books about it. For a paragraph, you need a bit more control and containment. That's the reason, the controlling idea. Now let's talk about the position of the topic sentence. Well, usually, but not always, it is the first sentence in a paragraph. You need to experiment with it. Here's an example. Synonyms, words with the same basic meaning, do not always have the same emotional meaning. For example, so this is the topic sentence, and as soon as we are using for example or any other transition signal like however, therefore, and stuff like that, we are going to support our claim. For example, stingy and frugal both mean careful with money. However, calling someone stingy is an insult, but calling someone frugal is usually a compliment. Similarly, a person wants to be slender but not skinny. Therefore, you should be careful in choosing words, as many so called synonyms are not completely synonyms. More experienced writers can put the topic sentence anywhere they want. At the end, in the middle, it depends. It really depends. You need to get your signature form of writing. Everybody writes differently. Writing ability is like our fingertips, especially in non-academic writing, but even in academic writing, you can distinguish who wrote that. Mediation is now a popular way to solve disagreements between children in school. A mediator can also help a divorcing couple discuss finances or improve communication between employees and company executives. These are a few ways that mediators can help opposing parties come to an agreement. The topic sentence is the last sentence, so rate the topic sentence. Here are our examples. Here's the topic sentence in a paragraph. What do you think about it? This paragraph is about how people are using solar panels in many different places. For example, many homeowners are putting them on their roofs to save money on electricity. Also, big companies are building solar farms in the desert. It is getting more popular because the sun is free. However, some people think they are too expensive to buy at first, but they eventually pay for themselves. What do you think? I think it's very bad. Why? Because it is announcing itself. Don't use announcing language. I am going to talk about it. Don't write your intentions. Talk about it. It is repetitive and lacks a sort of controlling idea. It is ill executed. Renewable energy sources have several advantages and disadvantages for the environment. On the positive side, wind and solar power do not produce greenhouse gases, which helps slow down climate change. However, building the necessary infrastructure can sometimes damage local ecosystems. For instance, the large-scale wind farms may interfere with bird migration patterns. Therefore, while these energy sources are cleaner, they are not entirely without their own environmental costs. So what do you think about it? It is certainly better. There are still problems, and the problem is that it is generic and it is very, very safe. It is okay to be safe in academic setting. I absolutely understand that. You need to deliver information, but it feels very formulaic. Advantages and disadvantages. There's merit in it. Start using that because it will guide you to talk about advantages and disadvantages. But it can be very repetitive, generic, and there are many people that try to force it, they try to memorize some phrases to use in their writing. It works at a starting point, but at some point in your life, it needs to get into your unconsciousness and into your linguistic capabilities that you involuntarily or even logically use them and learn their placements. Let's look at another example. Example 3. While the transition to sustainable energy is often framed as a purely technical challenge, it is fundamentally an economic shift that requires massive global investment. Current subsidies for fossil fuels often dwarf the incentives provided for green technology, creating an uneven playing field for innovators. To achieve a carbon-neutral future, international financial institutions must restructure how they lend to developing nations for infrastructure projects. Ultimately, the speed of the green revolution will be determined by the flow of capital rather than the efficiency of the technology itself. Let's look at the topic sentence once again. While the transition to sustainable energy is often framed as a purely technical challenge, it is fundamentally an economic shift that requires massive global investment. Nice, very nice. It uses a complex sentence structure by while high-level vocabulary using subsidies, dwarf, infrastructure, capital, and present a sophisticated controlling idea that it is not merely a technical term or a will of politicians to do so. There needs to be money behind it. It is fundamentally an economic or a capital question. And the argument is around that. It is perfect. I think if you can reach to this level, then you are going to be elaborate in conveying your thoughts. Let's do a practice. It is page 6 of the book. Determine too specific, too general, incomplete, and best topic sentence. Here's our first example. A lunar eclipse is an omen of a coming disaster. What do you think about it? A lunar eclipse is an omen of a coming disaster. It is too specific for my taste. Superstitions have been around forever. It's too general. Superstitions, just too general. People hold many superstitious beliefs about the moon. Yeah, we are controlling the superstitions about the moon. Good. I think it is good. Is made of green cheese. It's incomplete. What is made of green cheese? Another practice. The history of astronomy is interesting. Too general, too general. For paragraph. For a book, it can be good, but for a paragraph, it's too general. Ice Age people recorded the appearance of new moons by making scratches in animal bones. Ice Age people recorded the appearance of new moons by making scratches in animal bones. That's too specific. That could be a claim or a support, but it's really too specific. For example, Stonehenge in Britain was built 3,500 years ago to track the movement of the sun. Okay, what is the idea behind it? It is not good topic sentence. It is a supporting sentence because it has, for example, okay? So it is incomplete. I don't like it as a topic sentence. Ancient people record lunar and solar events in different ways. Yes, that's it. That's a nice topic sentence. Here, I want you to recognize the topic sentence. What is the topic sentence? A note memo function lets you make quick notes to yourself. Other capabilities include word processing, spreadsheets, and email. A voice recorder that uses a built-in microphone and speaker works like a tape recorder. Basic tools include an appointment calendar, an address book, to-do list, and a calculator. You see, they are very example-y. MP3 players let you listen to digital music files, and a picture viewer lets you look at digital photos. It's obvious. Most smartphones have tools for basic tasks as well as for multimedia functions. That's nice. That's very nice. A few models also include a built-in digital camera and keyboard. Well, that's for a supporting sentence for a smartphone. Two parts of a topic sentence, as we discussed, the topic and the controlling idea. Look at here. Convenience food are easy to prepare. Immigrants have contributed many delicious food to United States cuisine. United States cuisine is the topic, and the contributions of immigrants is the controlling idea. Advanced communication technologies have improved dramatically, and they have also enhanced business relationships and nurtured social interactions. Too many ideas as stated. Not good. Advanced communication technologies have improved dramatically. That's good. Then you can go and explore. Sometimes less is better. Here, identify the topic sentence and the controlling idea. Here's the example. Driving on freeways requires skill and alertness. So driving on freeways is our topic, requires skill, and alertness is our controlling idea. Pause the video and please do it yourself. But I assume that you have paused the video. Let's continue. Driving on freeways is our topic and requires an aggressive attitude is the controlling idea. Also, moving away from home can be stressful. Moving away from home is our topic. Being stressful for young people is our controlling idea. So we already talked enough about the topic sentence. Now let's talk about supporting sentences. Supporting sentences tend to expand, support, give examples, and broaden the understanding of our topic sentence and claim. It's going to support our claim, so we're calling it supporting sentences. Here's example number one. Using a cell phone while driving is a very dangerous habit for many people. It is dangerous because you aren't looking at the road and you might hit someone. Maybe people do it even though they know they shouldn't, but it's really bad. Also, phones are a big distraction because they ring all the time and you want to check your messages. If you are looking at your phone and you're not being a safe driver, everyone should just put their phones away until they get to where they are going so that no accidents happen. Well, it's repetitive. It said it's dangerous multiple times without adding new information. It uses really bad or big distractions instead of a specific data, and it lacks evidence. There are no statistic or expert citations to back up the claim. So, in an academic sense, it was weak. Even in a non-academic setting, the claim and the argument was very weak, in my opinion. Here's another example. Use of a mobile device while operating a vehicle significantly impairs cognitive function and increases the likelihood of a collision. According to the National Safety Council, cell phones used during driving leads to approximately 1.6 million crashes annually. This statistic underscores danger is not merely a physical distraction of the hands, but a cognitive tunnel that narrows a driver's situational awareness. When a driver engages with a screen, their reaction time slows to levels comparable to legal intoxication, rendering them unable to respond to sudden hazards. Consequently, the brief convenience of a text message does not outweigh the quantifiable risk of catastrophic injury. It's much better. It is evidence-based, it cites a specific organization and a hard statistic, it explains the why by introducing the concept of cognitive tunnel, and it also has a formal tone. It uses precise vocabulary like impair, situational awareness, and quantifiable risk. And one of the strengths of English language is its precision. It is so technical in deriving the meaning. If you want to convey the meaning, there's a chance that you can especially find it, especially in scientific settings. Now let's talk about opinion versus fact. Well, what is opinion? Opinions are subjective statements based on a person's belief or attitude. Facts are objective statements of truth. Look at the examples here. I will read the environmental science. You can take the screenshot and read others yourself. The average global temperature has increased by roughly 1.1 degrees Celsius since the late 19th century. It is a fact. It is a verifiable data. This rapid warming suggests that current international carbon reduction policies are insufficient to prevent a climate crisis. It is an opinion, it is a claim that needs to be supported. It needs further support. Let's talk about gender studies. According to the World Economic Forum, the global gender pay gap is not projected to close for another 131 years at current rates, which is awful in my opinion. So that second part is opinion. This is fact. It is verifiable. Now, this is an opinion. This persistent disparity indicates that the glass ceiling is a structural byproduct of corporate design rather than a reflection of individual merit. It is closer to opinion. It needs to be supported. It is a claim. Sometimes facts need proof and other times they don't. Despite living in a post-truth era, some facts doesn't require much proof. At sea level, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. I don't think even conspiracy theorists disagree with that. Maybe they do, who knows? So this don't need proof. Women live longer than men. It needs proof and nuance. Cigarettes are addictive. It needs proof. It is a medical claim, and generally any medical claim or any scientific claim needs proof. Opinion versus facts determine which is which. Photographs of ultra-thin fashion models send the wrong message to girls and young women. That's certainly an opinion. Fashion models are extremely thin. It's closer to fact, but it needs proof. It needs more nuance. It is too general. The average model weighs 23% less than the average woman of the same height. It isn't a specific supporting detail. It is not a fact or claim. It is a sentence that can work in your argument. Lastly, let's talk about the concluding sentence. The concluding sentence. Not all paragraphs have the concluding sentence. Especially in a multi-paragraph essay, not all paragraphs needs to have concluding sentences unless those concluding sentences are long. But in general, in a single paragraph, it's good to have a concluding sentence. Well, there are many things we could do for concluding sentences. They include summarizing the main points with new words, paraphrasing, or really paraphrasing the topic sentence. Repeat the topic sentence in different words. Here you can see some end of paragraph signals. We divided it based on the ones that are followed by a comma and not followed by a comma. You can take a screenshot as well. The evidence suggests that. There can be no doubt that. These examples show that. We can see that. And these are followed by comma. In brief, in conclusion, indeed, in short, finally, lastly, therefore, thus, to sum up. Let's look at some examples. Example 1. This method is summarizing the main point. The proliferation of cell phones has fundamentally altered the landscape of human emergency response. These devices allow for the instantaneous report of accidents, the tracking of missing persons by GPS, and immediate access to medical advice in remote areas by providing a direct line to emergency services at all times. Mobile technology has effectively minimized the dead time between a crisis and the arrival of professional help. In short, the ubiquity of cell phones has transitioned them from mere convenience items into essential life-saving tools. Another example. It is paraphrasing. Text messaging has emerged as a dominant form of interpersonal communication by prioritizing efficiency over emotional depth. While a phone call requires a synchronous time commitment from both parties, a text allows for asynchronous exchange, giving the sender and receiver the freedom to respond at their own pace. This shift toward brevity and convenience has reshaped how we maintain social bonds in a fast-paced world. Ultimately, the rise of texting underscores a societal preference for rapid, low-stake communication over traditional verbal dialogue. Ultimately, it is our concluding signal. The text messaging has been rephrased in a way. It creates a loop. The concluding sentence, example 3, offering a final thought or warning. Social media platforms are meticulously designed to exploit human psychology through a system of intermittent rewards such as likes and notifications. These features trigger dopamine releases that encourage users to spend an increasing amount of time scrolling through curated feeds. While these platforms claim to foster global connection, the addictive nature of their design can lead to a feeling of isolation and inadequacy among heavy users. As these digital landscapes continue to evolve, it is vital that users remain conscious of how their screen time impacts their mental well-being. This method is offering a final thought or offering a final warning. And these are model examples. They are very, very nice. So please read them, even rewrite them. It gives you ideas. Another example, predicting the future. The transition from traditional cinema to high-definition streaming services has democratized access to global film history. Audiences are no longer limited by the screening schedules of local theaters. Instead, they can explore niche documentaries and foreign masterpieces from their living rooms. This shift has forced the film industry to reconsider how it produces and distributes content to keep up with on-demand expectations. As home theater technology continues to bridge the gap in quality, the traditional movie-going experience will likely become a rare luxury event rather than a weekly habit. So it offers a prediction what the future holds. It can be a great conclusion. Another example, evaluating the significance. Modern advertising has moved beyond simply selling a product to selling a curated lifestyle or identity. Through targeted data analytics, brands can now follow a consumer across multiple platforms, showing them personalized ads that align with their specific values and aesthetic preferences. This hyper-personalization makes it increasingly difficult for consumers to distinguish between a genuine recommendation and a paid promotional tactic. The true power of modern advertising lies in its ability to seamlessly integrate itself into the fabric of our daily digital lives. It shows the significance. This is a very important thing in our lives. All of us are influenced by marketing and advertising. These are new things that I'm going to provide. I'm going to provide a lot of vocabulary, a lot of quizzes, especially as we go on. These are some of the vocabularies that I think you need to know. Blueprint, a detailed plan or design. It was one of the words that I used. Controlling idea, the part of a topic sentence that limits the topic to a specific area that can be discussed in one paragraph. Ubiquity, the state of being everywhere at once. Hinder, to create difficulties for someone or something, resulting in delay or obstruction. Impair, to weaken or damage something. Underscore, to emphasize or show the importance of something. Disparity, a great difference or inequality. Asynchronous means not existing or happening at the same time. Intersectional, related to the way different types of discrimination like race and gender overlap between different sections. It means that. Meticulously, showing great attention to detail, very careful and precise. Proactive, taking action to control a situation rather than responding to it. Quantifiable, able to be measured as a number. Robust, strong and healthy, unlikely to break or fail. You can take a screenshot as well. Take a screenshot and do the close test, please. Write down your answers in the comments. This presentation was done by me, Hossein Fazlatpour. It is a pleasure to be able to provide this material for you. I hope that you find it helpful. Please share and subscribe. It's really going to help me. Many of you that are watching or are newcomers don't subscribe. It's going to really help me to be able to continue uploading these videos. Thank you so much.